book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I am here today to do a spoiler-free review of The Build-Up Season by Jacobson. I was sent this book in exchange for an honest review from Penguin Teen Australia, so thank you so much Penguin Teen Australia for sending me this. You guys keep on sending me some awesome titles, and they just keep on publishing some awesome titles. That's what makes a very awesome publishing company. So yeah, so let's throw back many months ago when, you know, I started to try to branch out on my channel and start making book reviews. We get to the second book review, and then there's me reviewing Yellow by the same author, which was her debut. This is her amazing second book, but if you guys can't recall who Jacobson is, just remember the cringe. What up, book lovers? It is G-Swizz here, and I am here today with a spoiler-free review on Yellow by Jacobson. I have to warn you, it is a spoiler-free review, so you can stay as long as you want to, and you won't get spoiled. She's getting bullied at school, her mom is an alcoholic, she's not doing well in a classroom setting, pretty much her life is stuffed up, and it's really sad. I mean, I have feels for Kira. I mean, sorry, Kira. All of a sudden, one day, she comes across this telephone booth, and it rings. What kind of telephone booth rings, like, out of nowhere? I mean, telephone booths are there for the purpose that you get to ring others by putting coins into the booth in order to ring them. But the telephone booth was ringing, so then she answers it. I remember when I was trying to make a bunch of Aussie references, because Yellow was literally like one of the first Aussie YA books I had ever read, and I literally had frozen Lift. That was the day when McDonald's had frozen Lift, and all of a sudden, yeah, Shannon Knoll comes on and I play Lift. I need to take a break for a second. I'm just gonna drink my my Lift, you know, the Shannon Knoll drink.
I know how hard it can get, you gotta live.
You guys have no idea how embarrassing that is to look back on. Like, I thought it was a cool idea at the time. I usually roast, like, what, 16-year-old G-Swizz? But I am now roasting, like, 20-year-old G-Swizz. What? But anyway, this review will be spoiler-free, and we're going to be talking about her second book here, The Build-Up Season, which was an unexpected book for me. Like, I expected to enjoy this book like I enjoyed Yellow, which was her first book, but this book, I like this book on a completely different level and on a completely different standpoint. As a reviewer, I've gotten a whole lot more critical when it comes to the things I like and the things that I judge. So I pretty much requested this book because I had read a book by Jacobson before, and I was like, you know what, this time, I think I'm going to review it as well. So I just decided to give this one a go and read it from a critical standpoint. As I have matured in, like, the way that I review things, I feel like Jacobson has matured in her writing. It was so pleasant to see in here. I mean, it's not perfect. Let me just tell you right now, for example, the character of Iliad, like, you're not going to like her within, like, the first couple of pages. I feel like that's what her charm is, though. That's kind of the person she is in this book, and that's the protagonist we kind of need. We need somebody who's kind of unlikable and someone who you can't really fully see from the perspective of, but the perspective is very important and it is still valid. So I definitely think that Iliad was a very important character to be written in here. Iliad is our protagonist. She is 17 years old. I would personally not really like to talk about the synopsis to you guys because I don't want to, like, fully ruin the experience, but just to give you guys a couple of pointers going into this book. She grew up with a very violent father and an abused mother, and Iliad herself is not really the best with relationships, especially in the upbringing that she was raised up in, and this book does definitely bring up very important discussions like that. Like, for example, are you defined by the household that you grew up in? Are you defined by your parents? Are you really defined by that? Even reading about that in this book just, like, really hit hard. I was like, wow. As I was reading it, like, that just stuck out to me. I was like, oh, like, if I were to tab pages, like, I think I would, like, tab every second page in here because, like, there was just some thought-provoking moments that I was just like, oh, wow. This is also what teenagers experience, especially when it comes to their relationships. Like, their personal relationships can sometimes be affected by the relationships that they've grown to see, if that makes sense. And another relationship I have to mention is the love-to-hate relationship with Max and their prank war. Oh my goodness, like, I love Max, guys. Max is probably my favorite character in this book. He just spoke so much sense. Full stop. I love Max. Want a friend like Max, guys? I probably just want a boyfriend like Max, too. Like, can I have you, Max? Max, can you be real? It's so hard when fictional characters aren't real, like, especially when they're the perfect man. Definitely the main plot point that you need to know going into this, she gets into a relationship with a guy named Jared. He doesn't want to follow the path that his parents have for him. He wants to become an actor, he wants to do his own thing. That being said, he's a very complicated person as it is. This book kind of explores what it's like to be in an unhealthy relationship. It also has the factor of not everybody is who they seem to be, especially before you actually officially meet them or before, like, you actually really do get to know them. And you should actually put a a lot more thought into the people that you have relationships with. I actually just ate this book up. I read it within one sitting. To be honest, I wasn't actually expecting to read this within one sitting. I was actually expecting to read this during the booktubeathon so that I could like spread it out and review it afterwards. I just ate it up as soon as I picked it up. It's not the fact that it was like a guilty pleasure, addictive kind of candy book. It's just like one of those books that I just needed to keep going with. In fact, this is actually a very, very hard read. When you're reading it, you feel the realness of this book, and you realize that this book is real in so many different ways. I really did appreciate that. I love the raw tone that this book had and how powerful its message was. Seriously, I'm so proud of Megan Jacobson for where she's gone with her writing. I loved this book so much. You guys should read this. I think that this is a very important read. That being said, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you're an Australian, if you have access to this book, pick it up. So that is going to be it for this spoiler-free review, discussion, whatever it is, book lovers. Follow me on my social medias. I'm at G-Swizzelbooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/G-Swizzel. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.